so far. Will Ace be able to break that fear?
Yes, I believe he will, because this looks like a really good meepo game. Even though it is offlane meepo, this hero traditionally is not played in the offlane position, but they just saw Anti-Mage, they saw Faceless Void, you see Void Spirit, all these heroes that really rely on that maneuverability, and you've got meepo now. You can lock him down with the roots forever. It's one of the best meepo games I've seen in a very, very long time, but can he pull it off from the offlane position? Will they give him that farm priority to play like a carry? We'll have to see.
That is definitely one thing, and also talking about that offlane choice for Divine Llama. Well, we have a pause. We have a good time for this. This ad is brought to you by Offlane Anti-Mage. Have you had it with these snakes on your lane? Is Medusa really an unkillable hero and should be nerfed? We present to you an option of Offlane Anti-Mage. Burn her mana, burn her in chat, burn her MMR. Now for the cheap price of first face counterpick. Any presentation of testimonials and case studies saying AM Offlane is not a viable option is invalid and should lose MMR.
Wow. Where can I buy this?
Let's see if they're sold on the idea. I mean, Divine Llama, bronze tier Anti-Mage, doesn't really play it too much, at least, but does have a place this game. It's a great option versus the Medusa throughout the history of Dota, but is this the right game for it?
We'll have to see. It's going to be a lot on the... Once again, Hustlers are doing that thing where they have to do really well in the laning stage. They're trying to counterpick their lanes to the best of their abilities. Will they be able to do it? You're playing against Gaimin Gladiators. This is a team that even if you do well in lanes, they don't crumble. So they went into the series and they have a clear objective. We're just going to crush them in the lanes, and from there, hopefully we can snowball the game. Maybe that is the best route to go for it, but that's also one way, if it doesn't go well, to lose the game very quickly. They're going to have to keep this meepo in check, though. That's going to be one big thing, and we're going to have to see if what you're trying to sell everyone about this Anti-Mage versus the Snake Lady comes true or not, or is she just going to free farm and it's business as usual?
Yeah, at least in terms of aggression, since this Medusa last game was constantly hunted by Darkseers and Techies and Embers running around the map, D1 Hustlers, not even just Divine Llama, but D1 Hustlers in general, have to find that same type of pace to, you know, bully Doracio, maybe even look for kills, constantly harass her, make her presence known. But at the same time, they want to play for the timings of this Faceless Void. And Shad, we know he's an expert on the hero. He's been playing it throughout so many years in the last years of competitive Dota with good results. But this is a tough one. You gotta beat this one to keep your series hopes and your major tiebreaker hopes alive.
Most definitely. And Celery, I do like his choice of picking Shadow Demon in this lane, because you want to be aggressive. You want to skill the mana break. Now you're laning versus Shadow Demon, and once you skill that, he's going to mana burn you right back. So maybe Celery is just the X factor, as he was in game number 1 as well with this Enchantress bullying the Axe. You got to keep in mind, it's not just your core-to-core matchup. You got to counterpick the supports as well when you can here. So great adaptation. Celery having a big hero pool, making this lane. I'm gonna almost guarantee it's gonna be a different type of game than we saw Amar going ham here. Because really, just because of Celery, I think this hero pick of his was really smart.
And already topping the CS for the time being, Ace on this meepo, followed up with a Pango off of Quinn. Mid going 8-4 currently, so that's Xantic having to play from behind versus Quinn here in the early moments of this laning stage. Going to be pretty tricky for Xantic this time, not being the one in charge of this lane.
Yep, not quite yet here. We'll see how he has to... There's a lot of room to grow here for the Void Spirit. Both universal heroes, so they're both going to battle out in the damage department. And we do have a tip coming out from Divine Llama. I wonder why.
Already starting off with the burns.
Oh, counterspell probably. Probably counterspelled the snake. That's what happened.
Very likely. Yep.
There it is. Yeah.
Nope. Not this time. Has to be a direct connection at least.
Well, at least it doesn't... So if you click it direct on him, it'll send the snake back to you. But even if you use it just in the lane, Medusa won't get her mana back.
Yeah.
And it will not do damage to you. So either way, it is good for you. And you see Divine Llama, he can't even skill mana break because he knows Shadow Demon will just burn all his mana and all Theocore's mana, and it'll be really annoying to lane against. So he's going to hold on a skill point for now. And speaking of Dota in general,
Dota?
Yeah, just like if you look at heroes and how they're picked now, the year is 2023, and we have a Batrider Meepo dual offlane. It's getting kind of wild.
probably one of the first times that you see this duo in competitive Dota, which is always a, you know, I always love something that's unorthodox, even if it's good for the game, but at least you have the, you know, the confidence to just go for these picks, and like, we're gonna make it work nevertheless, no matter what we go up against. And Meepo off to a pretty good start so far, at least, leading still this Faceless Void by a couple CS, so keeping up. This, we kind of talked about this Meepo being somewhat of a free Meepo game. You also said the same thing, that there's a really good Meepo game. But how does he enable the team from the offlane? How does that differ from your carries and your mids as a Meepo?
He's just gonna play Doombringer, you know, just go AFK farm. Don't really need to put much thought into it here. He doesn't have to make space. He is a carry offlaner here. Make no mistake about it. He's gonna build like a carry. Let him farm. You're going to make space for your offlaner this game, and a lot of that's going to be up to Quinn and what can he do here, because obviously Medusa's not going to make a ton of space herself here, so Quinn's going to have the task of getting some runes, walking around the map with supports, and trying to make space for both these guys to farm it up.
Shad's going to be in trouble in the top lane. They're going to be hunting this Faceless Void under the tower, and it's Meepo to take the first kill on the game. Tofu going to get traded off by Hakoda, but Ace... Meepo first blood.
Free farming, getting first blood. This Meepo's working out quite well here. He might even get a courier for his troubles. Will he get two? There's a frog behind the tree there. Does he see it?
Ice frog?
He wants it. He wants it. He's getting 2 for 1 special there. Gets both couriers and first blood. I don't know what to say anymore. This Meepo's just having time of his life up here, and it's as we talked about, a great Meepo game. Got to be a little bit concerning here if you are the D1 Hustlers.
Yeah, relishing, you know, thriving in his lane, everything going into the books for Gaimin Gladiators so far. Every lane having a good time. It's just that this Faceless Void lagging behind CS a bit with that one death. Shad, he's gonna have to find an opening this game. Is this one of those Midas games? Potentially. Oh, trying to get to Zantic in mid lane. Not quite enough for Quinn, but he's done the damage. He's going to have to walk all the way back home.
In top lane, we now have 2 Meepos.
Shad. Uh-oh. Not having fun at all. Just getting chased again. Blood grenaded by this Meepo.
He's dead.
And Shad, he's dead. He's got nowhere to run. So Ace will get a second kill for the Meepo.
Well, you know Ace is having fun, that's for sure here.
And
he gets his last pick, Meepo, gets to play in the offlane, gets 2 kills. And I think I talked about Quinn being the one having to make space here. He probably will do that as well, as he's crushing mid lane right now in this 1v1 matchup.
Celery currently out of mana, so he won't be able to get that 4th connection onto Theoliker. Shad had to swap his lane, but at the same time, Hakoda going to be hunted down in the mid lane. And going for Quinn is yet again another successful kill for the Pango. At least in this game, is going to be his first, but he's continuing off to a great start. But so do they get a response on the side of the bot lane. D1 Hustlers finishing off Celery, but it does come with the help of the Faceless Void. But Horatio, this is exactly what they were looking for. Burn the mana, make the work. The arrow's going to be there. And of course, this offlane Anti-Mage ad may have worked out. I'm saying may have, because he's still joking around in the trees, and Celery coming in with a counter spell. Going to be a bit preemptive. Nice cast cancel there on the disruption from Celery, but still going to be in trouble. But Tofu coming in, and so is Ace. And the Violama, you have been surrounded by GG. Gaimin Gladiators successful with the kill, but most importantly, Horatio keeps his life intact on this Medusa and gets the kill on top.
And Ace didn't even stop farming. He dragged the wave. Meanwhile, mid lane, actually. They will get the Pango. That's big. All right.
It's a response.
Antic. Yeah, having a good start on this Void Spirit. Well, he wasn't having a good start, but with that kill, he's having a better start. And now they're going to make a rotation to this top lane. But they're a little low on resources here on Xantic. Looks like he decides to go back, saying, I don't have the mana for this, and I don't have the cooldowns.
Looking at hero levels currently, there's a lot of red at the bottom half of the experience grid. Level 5s on AM, on the Void, on the Silencer, level 4 on the Mirana. Lagging behind an experience as well. This gonna hurt D1 Hustlers a bit, especially if this Pango Batrider duo wants to start playing around the map. Especially if Tofu with Quinn, they want to kind of group up and start tag teaming these heroes. And of course, bring along Ace as well. Might as well. He's already working towards the Mega Meepo. So one piece towards the Ags is ready.
Yeah.
Flinging some meepos around.
She's flinging some meepos around.
Yep.
Indeed. And he's going to have this pretty quickly, too. The one downside, speaking of that, Quinn, hold on.
He's baiting pretty hard here, but oh, one hit to do the job, but he's regenerating from that bottle. Gets the kill on that Zantic, and does he survive? The Yoliker gonna chase him all the way. The Starstorm, the second wave, is the one to finish him off, and the Yoliker is gonna get killed off by Celery. Hakoda punished by Tofu. Tofu, he's basically just... Okay, Hakoda denies the regen rune, so he doesn't even get to pick it up. I don't think would have really made much of a difference there, but... Nice plays there from Quinn, like, you know, small, in the moment kind of decision making there. When do I Rolling Thunder? Do I just panic myself out of here? But actually waits for as long as possible until he pops it, gets bottle regen, and swashbuckles to the high ground, killing the Void and surviving.
He had to have played that perfectly, to be honest with you. One small little mistake or misuse of spells there. Maybe he dies first, doesn't get the kill. Perhaps he can get out, but he had to min-max that absolutely perfectly if he wanted to kill Zantic there, and he did there, so good for him on that one. But he is a little deep now with no Rolling Thunder.
Right now, surrounded by 3, but Tofu and Quinn, we talked about the duo of the 2s and the 4s combining themselves, and Devialama looking for Celery. He's going to walk in to take that Remnant for himself. Swashbuckle in 2 seconds. Quinn, he needs just that much time for himself. Shield crash away, and a short-range Swashbuckle that Devialama can't chase up for him. Meanwhile, there's a Chrono being used up at the same time onto Tofu by Shad, and he wants this kill. Just needs to see where's this Batrider going. Trying to juke around at the trees. Lasso going to be connecting, trying to get this kill on the Anti-Mage. Not going to happen, and Quinn's going to be low on HP as well. 2 seconds for the Rolling Thunder to come back up, and Quinn, he's not really surviving, is he? He is! He's going to be turning it around with the Rolling Thunder, get a connection onto the Faceless Void, get a bit of damage, get a bit of poke there, but this Void doesn't die, but they will. Oh, we actually got him! Celery! Just low enough for that poison. And this Demon really making them pay for it. He will lose his life, but Zantic picking up the double kill, but Celery, 2 kills on a Shadow Poison cast. Perfectly lined up.
Literally perfect. They got the Swashbuckle on top of the poison stacks there. Celery doing so much in that fight. Of course, Quinn was doing a lot in the fight as well, but both of them playing out of their minds there to just survive for as long as they could. But in the end, they still both do fall there, but getting that double kill in return, that's not what you wanted if you were the Hustlers.
Yeah, Tofu also dropping pretty low.
One of those free kills.
Just going to be chilling for the time being, but Zantic will drop down the Remnant, only connecting onto Celery after a while, but Global Silence used and can't get the kill on this Pango.
Not quite enough here.
Get there, and Tofu getting killed off by the Marauder. Okay.
Yeah, he was working on that for a while. Finally gets it here.
Yeah, persistency paying off.
And he's going to go for the Courier too? Alright.
And it's going to lose his life maybe. Quinn just needs one good swashbuckle, and there's the sentry placed down by Celery. Meanwhile, Dorachi already popped his Stone Gaze, keeping that Zantic and Devialama at bay. 2K lead for Gaimin Gladiators here in the early 11 minutes. Not a massive lead, but it's a lead that you can feel right now. D1 Hustlers not in a happy position, but still holding on.
Well, you see them, they're fighting all over the map, and the fights are really close, but this is without Meepo. The game's gonna get interesting when Meepo comes online with the Mega Meepo and 200 gold. Does he want to participate in fighting when that's online? We'll have to see. I think he wants more levels. The one good thing you have going for you here, if you are D1 Hustlers, is Meepo isn't super high level.
Ace is found.
Because he is playing offlane.
They're making their way here at Zantic. Hakoda.
He's slow.
Low on this Meepo. He's going to need some backup. We've got people coming out of the portals. Quinn is here. Celery is here. Rolling Thunder being used, and a bubble. Also going to be popped on top of this Anti-Mage. He's going to soak up that initiation, and he's going to die. They even dropped the lasso just so he won't blink out. That's 2 ultis used, but they will get the kill, and D1 Hustlers, they lose their playmaker. They're going to have to back out.
Yeah, them coming through that portal there at the last second there, really saving Ace's life, because they had Ace dead to rights if they were to chase him and there was no backup, but with the introduction of these portals here, you don't want to fight on the corners of the map here, as your allies can get there quite quickly. Another good turnaround, and yet again, D1 Hustlers, they just can't catch that break this game. It feels like everything that should be going well for them, something bad just has to happen in return.
Well, Ace has his Ags now, so this Meepo going to be able to build up that tower of Meepos. Get that extra.
Only got one Meepo for now.
Yeah, gonna need a bit more. But, you know, you got your buddy on your shoulders, like going at a concert. Gotta get the short guy on your shoulders so that they can see the stage.
So can you put multiple short guys on your shoulders?
I mean, honestly, Meepo with this axe feels like the real crowd surfer out of venue, right? Meanwhile, they're gonna be jumping on top of this SD. One more hit to finish off the job. The Violama's gonna get it. But you got someone on your shoulders. They're taking a video with their phone. You can throw them in so that they can crowd surf.
All right.
Then they just, you know, vibe on their own and they get brought to the front, and then the security have to throw them back in. And
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has that personality too. Look at that face.
Gaimin Gladiators. Celery's going to be up in 3 seconds. Glyph used to defend this T1 tower in mid. They are pretty spread around the map, but they've got the Pango TPing, and he doesn't have much mana, though. Does he get a bottle refill from Celery? Maybe that helps out. Sure. Bottle refill. Tower held. Ace is also there to take the attention with Tofu. D1 Hustler's not staying around for too long here.
I must say I'm getting quite different vibes from this Defy Anti-Mage than the Amar. He's gonna get stunned while TPing by the Ogre Smash.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that one's not great. Let's see if he can get stunned again. No, he dodges that one. But the other one, he was TPing, so it was like a double down there. And he's going Crimson Guard on this Anti-Mage. When we saw Amar do it and completely dominate, he went for a Diffusal Blade early on.
Yep,
of course, and then he was just running around the map, haunting this Medusa. Not this type of game. This is the type of game where Medusa's still free farming, and this Anti-Mage farming pretty slow. Only level 7 at 14 minutes into the game. Not having a good game.
Supports. Yep. They're all level 7 on the side of D1 Hustlers, plus 3, 4, 5. Sharing that bottom. Meanwhile, Mirana is scouted out. Gonna get hit by the flame break, but not pushed towards Tofu. Tofu's still chasing for this kill. Gonna use a drum charge, going all in for it. Hakoda's gonna be there. Silence does come out as the lasso connects, and he does not have a way to run out. A Celery drops down the Demonic Purge. So they will clean out that support Mirana out of the way. Dyrachio also spotted by the Violama. Waving his arm.
Level 11 Dusa getting chased by his 7 Anti-Mage.
Making his
He's
breath
probably
snow,
just
right?
like... Oh, then he's just gonna die. Okay.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, you got baited into this one. And the tip has been returned.
Yeah, and the Violama with running the hands through the hair, like, I don't know what to do anymore, guys. What's my purpose in this game anymore?
That's Santic. Okay.
Okay, they got
Hakoda's gonna secure it, but Void, if he got that Remnant to connect, that would have been a kill. But Hakoda's like, alright, let me do the work for you. Ace turns available. Gonna be taken by Celery. Celery is able to run away. It's got the bubble available too. And Ace is just turning around with that Blink Dagger initiating, taking down the Silencer.
I think it's official now. We might not see the Mega Meepos used very much here, as I don't think he's gonna really need it. But the Blink Dagger, though, this is the item that he is going to start getting active on the map. This is where you're going to find this Anti-Mage. This is not going to be an Anti-Mage that survives for very long. Sure, you are building in the Crimson. Maybe that is your best route for survivability. But the lockdown with no Manta is going to be pretty extreme here.
Quinn, poking to Violama here. Global Silence used up. This Pango kill, they got to make sure it happens. Arrow flies in for the connection, and that's going to be a kill. And now Tofu, he sees his time has come, and so does Ace. Onto the Void Spirit he goes, and just keeping him rooted on the spot. Kills the Void Spirit. And a trade will happen. 1 for 1, mid for mid. That also keeps up ramping this Meepo's net worth. He's above 10k from the offlane now.
He is playing like a carry. They bought him the space. He's online, and now he's going to repay that space. And what we're really going to be looking forward coming soon here is, what can Shad do?
Yeah.
Like, this is not a game where he can AFK.
You talked about how Meepo resembles the Doom. I mean, look, at net worth-wise, that's one direct similarity that I spy, at least. Both of them usually just farming themselves up into these ridiculous numbers and getting to initiate just like that with the blink into the root.
Yep. It's a totally viable playstyle. You can play carries in the offlane. Like, that was like Amar's like claim to fame back in previous patches. People are still doing it with the Magnuses and the Dooms. You just hit creeps for a while, and as long as your mid laner is okay to allow you to do that and make some space for you, you have the time, but there has to be some type of timing when your hero becomes useful. And with Doom, it's pretty obvious. You can just Doom anyone, and that's just good all game long. That's why I first phase pick. Meepo, little more of our niche picker, because he's not good in every game. But in this game, against the Anti-Mage, against the Void Spear, as I mentioned, and the Faceless Void, this Perma-Root is going to be a nightmare for all these heroes. But now you have the Mjolnir online for Shad, and I think he's got to do something with this. His team needs help.
Hakoda, no global silence for another 30 seconds, so this Batrider gonna have some free reign to initiate, but he will lose his life for it. A bit too aggressive, as nobody else from Gaimin Gladiators was able to get there. Ace was looking for an angle to jump in. D1 Hustlers, do they look for another kill? They could potentially just stack up and smoke. They've got one on the silencer. They are getting stunned up by these bloody ogres again. You know, last time was the Violama, now it's Theoliker. Basically just getting stuck.
He does have the Vessel online for the Murano. I wonder what that's for this game. Nothing the heal is particularly good against, but still just generally a strong item.
4K. This net worth lead hasn't really been building on the side of Gaimin Gladiators, but it's going to increase with this Medusa already working towards that Butterfly. Meepo working on a Manta, so you can perch off the Global Silence. And of course this Pango with Aghanims on the list. Like these heroes are just going to start farming faster and faster. D1 Hustlers though, it's pretty much just going into one pocket, and that's the Faceless Void. They are going to eventually fall behind.
Yeah, you're playing versus Medusa sorry, not Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage is on the other team, but he's not even building a Battle Fury. Medusa Meepo lineup, they have plenty of capability to farm the entire map, which leaves you a little bit of urgency if you're the Hustlers to get some kills or make something happen. Because if it's a completely static game and nobody's doing anything, they can just hit creeps faster than you.
And there's Sriracha's Butterfly going to be killed on the Courier, but there is a Chrono catching a lot of heroes. It's Ace and his duplicates with Tofu, and they will get this Meepo killed. First kill off of the Meepo. Hakoda will get that one. Theoliker also. Both supports finding kills. Celeriti being out, but Devilama coming out with a cancel. And this was a much-needed morale victory, but also a lot of gold. It's now down to a 1K lead. That's 3K gold almost, and 4,000 experience going for D1 Hustlers, and into Roche they go.
Yep. That was huge. The Global Silence there, stopping the counterplay of the Shadow Demon being able to save not Tofu there, Ace there in that situation was absolutely critical, as he was able to get the Global Silence off, and then now the Chrono came out and they were able to turn that fight beautifully, and that's what they needed. They needed a Shad to hit the biggest Chronosphere of his life, as he went full Mjolnir, no defensive capabilities, but you saw in that Chronosphere he does a lot of damage.
He definitely does, topping the DPS for D1 Hustlers, and that's exactly what you need from this Faceless Void. Has the Mjolnir ready, working on a BKB next into the Lincolns, so he can't get hit by the Demonic Purges, can't get hit by the Lassos, or at least either one. There's still a lot of single target abilities, and again, it is a game where we have to see the carry build both BKB and Lincolns, but in this case, at least there's BKB piercing ults.
Yeah, normally with the Faceless Void, you get the choice, because you want to go into the Refresh Orb eventually, so you either go Lincolns or Aya Scotty. We'll see if he changes it. I think it might be generally a better Scotty game here if he does want to go that route. But Lincoln's, it can definitely help you versus the Batrider.
He's got 2 Lincolns now lined up.
Yeah, double Lincolns, why not?
Good stats for Universal Hero.
No, he's just queuing it up. He's going to definitely not go for that build. As I think they're just waiting for Global and Chrono to come back online, and I'd like them to use this Aegis. You have the ability now to just jump in as Shad. And I think you should still blow all your spells, but if they manage to turn on you and kill you, at least you have that extra protection of the Aegis there to come back, and maybe that little bit extra is what you need to win the team fight. Obviously, in that last fight, we didn't see Dusa. Dusa was just farming, so fights will be a little more difficult as the Stone Gaze enters the fights here, so maybe you still have to be a bit careful and pick and choose your fights if you're D1 Hustlers, because Dairachio, he's a beast. He has Butterfly online. He is level 16. Try to fight away from the Medusa or catch him out of position by himself. I think those are your choices.
Gaimin Gladiators went for a 3-man smoke on the top half of the map, but no opening for them, and just playing on the defensive end. Suspecting that D1 Hustlers want to smoke up with that Aegis. 3 minutes still on the clock, and they will stack right behind them in the bottom lane. Gaimin Gladiators, do they make their way to the bot lane, or do they just stick in mid? It's down to them.
They got Blink on the Batrider. So
they got a gem on Celery too, yeah.
Yeah. So their choices, they have choices. I think after the last event that just happened where they tried to be aggressive on the Void, they turned it. They're going to think twice about doing anything aggressive without Dyrachio. I think when Dyrachio's ready to go, that'll be their next play. And of course, you are playing into the Aegis here. No point running into this Faceless Void with Aegis. You still have Meepo, you still have Medusa. You're fine hitting creeps for now.
Oh yeah, like we talked about that 4K lead going down to 1K when that Roshan fell. It's back to 4K, and there's nobody died pretty much in between this time. So that just talks volumes about the farming pace for Gaimin Gladiators. The two heroes indeed on the top of net worth, followed up by the Pango, not too far away from that Faceless Void. They're going to be getting a Tormentor for themselves.
Allies disappear.
Or not.
Not enough DPS there. They gave it a shot, but they need a
Ace
little
is
more.
located. And they get there with that Mirana ult. Moonlight Shadow still up for a bit, but Ace, he's fast on his feet. The whole posse of Meepo Illusions just running straight towards the triangle for the safety of his friends. Gaming's doing a really good job of just dodging all potential opening movements here from D1 Hustlers. The waves are pushing it the whole time. They're not making any risky moves.
Oh.
Maybe now that aggression will end up biting them a bit, as that Pango was pushing it. Yeah, exactly. Cursed them a bit there. Everything was going so well, but now finding a kill off the Pango and allows them to push down a lane. But that does require that D1 Hustlers, they need to use like 3-4 heroes for this.
They brought 5. They're just being extra safe. And they're going to go through the portal here with maybe 5 heroes yet again. We'll have to see. No point sticking up here, I think, if you are Thelocore. Unless you're trying to get some cheeky pick off with the Xantic. But I guess this is your Aegis going to be expiring in 40 seconds here. You probably don't want to force a fight right now if you are the Hustlers. You can be okay with farming. Faceless Void now going back into... deciding to make a pit stop before that Lincoln's into the Diffusal Blade. So not going for the double Lincolns.
That's a good thing. Yeah, Diffusal, I feel like I understand the fact you're playing against the Medusa. It's still one of the best
rude
items
hit.
to pick up.
Okay, one more leap. And do they chase him to the ends of the earth here?
I mean, 5 seconds for Blink. Maybe Ace goes for it. No more leap charges. Okay, no need for a Blink. He's just going to catch him.
Yeah, he's gone.
It's easy for Ace.
Quite an easy pick off for sure, as they decided not to take the gate and try to save the Mirana there.
Oh, Tofu. Oh, he misses the lasso. That was really close to connecting there, but he was already turning his model around, thought that he had him.
How do you miss a lasso?
I don't know, it's a pretty bad cowboy. Dakota. He's got 15 seconds for the global silence, and Gaimin Gladiators not getting the opening they wanted to, and D1 Hustlers, they're stacked up. Mirana's going to be up in 15 seconds too. But that Aegis, it has ran its course.
And just like that, you see the aggression come out, and this is going to get disgusting. You've got the Shadow Demon with the Medusa. So much is going to rely on this global silence, I feel. If he misuses it even just a little bit, it could cost the entire team fight. But they need to get the opening, jump Dyrachio, and then global before that disruption save comes out. Because once those illusions come out, I feel like it's GG. These things are tanky, they hit hard, and it's definitely scary. You have to find the Shadow Demon or have a perfect global.
Of course, the fact that even Celery is going to pick up net worth on the Shadow Demon farming with those illusions. They are his after all. That extra bit of money.
And guess what he has? Lotus Orb is almost complete. And that's going to take him out of the global. So that global play being so important that I was talking about, that's a tool to remove it. So fights are going to get harder and harder here. I'm a little afraid this Shadow Demon... it's going to be a big problem for the Hustlers. Shad is going to have to hit like one of those Chronospheres that catches a Shadow Demon plus a core, and then end up killing the Shadow Demon here. But you can't ignore Celery at this point.
Yeah, that's going to cause like different different possibilities, outcomes, depending on when the chrono ends. Does Tofu just get the walk on top of and get the lasso connection right after? Does he just lasso from inside the chrono, like on the edge of it as well? So there's a lot that Shad needs to succeed this game. As the rest of D1 Hustlers, the 4 players, we've been seeing that they've basically shared a boot camp with 4 of their players. Shad is the only one not there, so he's got his own kind of calm, silent room to play in, but gonna need that calm decision making when it comes to those team fights too. You're gonna have to face this Gaimin Gladiators lineup eventually at some point in this game.
And you have the Anti-Mage versus Medusa, and normally like, oh, it's a hard counter, but if you look at Defy Llama's build here, this is an Anti-Mage that has a Crimson Guard and a Heaven's Halberd.
Yeah,
he has no attack speed. He does not have any attack speed though, that's my point. And he does not have illusions, which means he's not really burning Medusa's mana. He's just buying items that any hero can buy versus Medusa, really. But he's an anti-mage.
Maybe he's just a mage. It's not really being an anti to anyone. We'll see, we'll see. I mean, like you said, there's still items that you build against the hero. Still that 5-second disarm against the Medusa, the Crimson Guard. I mean, that extra tankiness versus those illusions that are going to hurt. There's going to be a lot of them this game. Smoke up once again from Gaimin Gladiators, just taking over this triangle position away from D1 Hustlers, but somehow this game has still stayed at 4K, but D1 Hustlers coming out with the move. Moonlight Shadow, right under vision of a Sentry and an Ops Ward. They're all located. This is pretty scary to be. And we'll bounce back that Mystic Snake. But that's about it. So they will get the D Ward, and they are so spread. Gaimin Gladiators as well. They're holding 3 separate choke points that fight. So D1 Hustlers like, all right, we got our place, but now what? That's about it.
I think a lot of this game is going to come down to the next Roshan, as it will respawn in 1 minute and 20 seconds here, which means we're going to have a Radiant Roshan. So whoever can take control of this area will have a bit of advantage. Naturally, Radiant does have the advantage here, as they do have that outpost to TP on. But that hasn't stopped teams in the past from just getting that high ground positioning and taking the fights. And it looks like the Hustlers will get positioning here. I think if you're Gaimin Gladiators, you force them back here. And that is the call. They ping on the tier 3 tower there, and it's going to start slowly going down. But I think
these
right
illusions
now
are causing issues on 2 separate lanes. They're just destroying the waves as they're spawning. So they're going to be in your base in just a matter of moments. And it's everybody moving behind Shad. Now 8,000, the difference between the 2 teams. And here comes Gaimin Gladiators, full on 5 TP towards the bottom lane. And they're going to head straight towards D1 Hustlers, and we're going to get to the fight we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for this one for a very long time. Does it break loose? Who's going to be getting the better advantage out of it? Santic already in the front. Defy Llama right next to him. Quinn going to get scouted up by the way, but the rune he has is going to give him that extra mobility to jump out onto Celery. Global Silence coming up with the Lotus Orb's going to be placed down as well. He's going to buy some time to survive. Shad going to get the Chrono. Medusa's going to be inside it. Duraccio, very low on the mana. That's going to be a big ulti coming out as well from Defy Llama. Not enough to take him down, but Celery, Tofu, Duraccio, they're all going to die. And D1 Hustlers, they've got themselves the upper advantage right now. Santic chasing down a Quinn. Quinn is going to have his ulti run out. He's going to roll up and try to get a bit of extra distance, but in the end it doesn't even matter for him because he's going to get hunted down. That's 4 and maybe even 5 if they can get to Ace, but Ace and Ace, that Meepo tower is sliding out of their hands. But that is going to be Roshan for D1 Hustlers, and a big team fight for them to hold themselves alive in this game. We're just looking at the Meepo tower, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean the Meepo, he blinked away and it just started flying towards him, and it looked funny. On the top Meepo, they're just glitching out a little bit. But that's exactly what they needed to do. Who'd they catch? They got Celery. And when you jump Celery like that, and they got the bonus of Tofu being a little out of position too, as we will get a replay here, and you're going to see they got the 2 best heroes to get that they possibly could get. The Bat Rider, and they caught Celery. So Celery can't help Medusa here. Shad is just laying in the Duraccio. And then boom, Celery dies. Now Duraccio, he has no mana. So now the Void Spirit can clean it up easily after that too. Positioning is key. And you wanted to go first in Gaimin Gladiators there, but I think the wrong hero went first there for them. I think it probably had to have been the Pango to lead that initiation and not the supports.
Yeah, you say positioning is key, but I'm going to say positioning is king in this case because D1 Hustlers, they just schooled them after that fight. That was almost a bit too easy. But getting those two supports right in the front, that's a dream start for D1 Hustlers. So like, Bat and SD right in front of us. All right, Shat, you do you. We're just going to clean up these guys. And oh, he's got a Medusa set the Chrono. Perfect. Everything is going to plan. Gaimin Gladiators, they don't want to let them... well, they don't want that to happen again in this game because we just saw how detrimental it can be.
Yeah, it's a perfect scenario here, but as the game goes on... Alright, Roll is going to be down here too. They're going into the Aegis. I'm not sure if this is the fight you're looking for, as I think the Hustlers are going to try and chase you down now.
He's got Chrono back up. I'm not sure if they know about this, but that's a fairly short cooldown in sense of this fight.
Shadow Demon.
Oh, beautiful! He's got the Medusa, got the Shadow Demon. Exactly, you talked about it, Fear. That's what they wanted. That's what they'll get. The Rocher trying to get away with that. BKB trying to make a disengage for it. Mirana going to get stunned up, and Shad's still high on their heels. Medusa hiding in the trees. Oh, no TP for 6 seconds. Where are you going to go? What you going to do when you got nowhere to be? Celtic with a triple for this one.
They are playing this so good on Hustlers now. I'm not going to lie to you. This was a tall mountain to climb for them to win these team fights, but they're executing exactly what needs to happen. They're getting the Shadow Demon. That was best case scenario, even better than the last one. Get them both in the Chrono. If you get Dusa and Shadow Demon in the Chrono, that pretty much secures your team fights. But I thought that would be hard, like easier said than done situation, but that looked pretty damn easy.
It definitely did. That's a lottery ticket that usually takes a bit of time to get a victory. Sometimes you never do, but now he just got 2 successful team fights in a row. Lightning definitely does strike twice.
And a lot of that they have to do with Quinn rolling in a bit early.
Yeah, the Hustlers still in the race for this game. 35 minutes closing up on this, and Medusa's still out for 20 seconds, about to finish that Daedalus. But what do you do with all this damage if you don't get to hit them? It's a bit of an issue for them. They're going to have to find different approaches into these fights. And D1 Hustlers, they're riding on a high right now. They've got a pretty good momentum going their way.
For sure. And we have yet to see... I thought Ace would have more impact so far in this game, but ever since he got the Mega Meepo and the Blink Dagger, there's been some cool plays here and there. But he's not having that type of performance. You're like, wow, this Meepo's out of control by any means. He finished the Scotty, maybe with a buyback, potentially Meepo going in first. I think what they're really lacking right now in Gaimin Gladiators is they're not really getting the initiation themselves, right? So far, it's just been them walking into the Hustlers, Hustlers getting the initiation, and Gaimin Gladiators, Meepo just hasn't had a place yet. Tofu, he's been really struggling this game too to find any type of initiation with this lasso. Really having a rough one here, as this looks like one of the more sloppy games from Gaimin Gladiators that I haven't seen in a while. But D1 Hustlers, they're flawlessly putting their combo to use here, as they're going to try yet again as Chrono is up. Let's go again. We got Aegis.
And into the same place as well. The same place where they've had success. They know this place inside and out right now. Celery going to get scouted up by the Violama, trying to find this SD, just jiggling and running around trees, but he's going to get caught in the end. Even loading up that Mana Void just in case to make sure that he does not escape. So that's a Celery getting killed. Ace is going to finish off the Tormentor with ease. It's going to be very fast. Tofu getting himself the lasso. Oh, sorry. Shard for the sticky napalm. That's what I wanted to say. No longer disarmed by the lasso, but it's not the biggest. He used to be pretty huge with the right
on the support Batriders. On the support Batrider, this barely matters.
Yeah.
Like, it might matter, but it barely matters. It's not going to change the tides of this game by any stretch of the imagination. And we're just going to farm.
It has been a while, but the last few minutes, D1 Hustlers, they were able to build up a net worth lead for the first time in these 37 minutes, but it was only so small that Gaimin Gladiators was able to get it back on their side. Quinn is building into an Octarine core with this Pango. Got a lot of abilities he wants to live off of. To make sure that you've got them available.
A lot of survivability as well.
Yeah, maybe he can get a Spell Prism as well to get even more cooldowns off.
Yeah,
he decides to go for the Mindbreaker.
The thing about Octarine Core nowadays is it's a very tanky item. It gives you like 625 HP and mana on top of reducing your cooldowns. So it just makes you super tanky. And of course, the more spells you use on Pango, the more survivable you are as well. Add that raw HP on top of it. It can do a lot. But he made a pit stop. He decided, I'm going to get a Basher first. Buys that one out. We'll see if Octarine Core will be his choice for the next item here. But I don't think it's much about items anymore for Gaimin Gladiators. It's going to be more about execution. Can Tofu get an initiation? The last roll, or last couple rolls that Quinn did to try and initiate, they were a little sus, not going to lie. They didn't hit the targets they needed to. They got counterplayed. Oh, rolls down. I guess we can just go. And that's what you need to avoid if you're Gaimin Gladiators. You need to find a clean opening, a clean initiation, so you can use the Stone Gaze. And once you use the Stone Gaze, all of a sudden, Faces Void can't fight for the duration of the Stone Gaze, and hopefully you get a kill within that period if you're Gaimin Gladiators, if you want to continue to play into this game. But the moment you get jumped on a Shadow Demon, and Dusa doesn't get any spells off and gets chronoed, I feel like that's when you start losing these fights.
And again, Gaimin Gladiators just trying to force D1 Hustlers back into their base with that top lane. They've just been repeating this over and over again, and actually going to get jumped. The cheese does get popped by the Anti-Mage, and he gets to live a bit longer. Shat on the chase right now. One more jump for a good chrono, but he's going to get silenced with that Mindbreaker from Quinn.
Might be too far for Hustlers.
They are spreading all over the place, and they're going to need a bit of extra backup. Their supports are still lagging behind, and Shat wants to take the initiative. That's not going to get thrown around by Tofu. Rolling Thunder just connect onto Shat. Shat BKB popped as well. Finds the Rachi. Oh no, he doesn't. He actually jumps back in into Quinn, and the gaze has been forced down. Hakoda's going to be going down, and Ace gets the snipe from the backline. And this fight just spreads all over the place. Like you said, they might be a bit too deep. They definitely were, and that's going to be the second support to die. The two guys that showed up late for the fight are the ones that end up dead.
That one did not go the way for the Hustlers. The last couple fights, they look so clean, but you use all your spells, all your cooldowns are down, and you continuously chase there. And you don't want to chase an enemy high ground like that.
Oh, Dalai Lama, no more cheese to save you this time. Rooted up by Ace. This Meepo, 4,000 HP per buddy. Very, very tanky Meepos to be trying to focus on right next to your tier 3 tower. Even tankier than this Medusa. Garaccio is just going full damage this game. And they're going straight through on his back door. That tier 3 tower about to melt here, and that will drop. No more armor buff for you. Balancing up the Anti-Mage lasso. Into the counter spell, Tofu! The cowboy gets stuck in his own knots.
Pulling creeps, he says. Nah, my friend, you're pulling yourself.
Oh dear. Oh well, I mean, at least the melee rack still stands, but D1 Hustlers, they're gonna have to pay a price for it. They get an opening to buy a llama. Still in the front with this Medusa BKB pop. Gaze up in 10 seconds. Quinn gonna get the stun connections with this Rolling Thunder on top of the Anti-Mage. And on the side, Shat's got the chrono, got the Meepo inside of the bait plays off. They just need to get this kill closed in. He's gonna get saved. Shat dropping very low. Shat down. Anti-Mage down as well. D1 Hustlers end up losing their big damage dealers, and they cannot even kill the bloody Meepo.
Yeah, Tofu bought back into the game there just to help out. Dies again. Poor Tofu, man. He's having like the roughest game of his life here, but doesn't seem to matter. Things are going well in these fights for them. All it took was one fight.
Oh,
and now Ace is online.
And our next one, and a harpoon play coming out as well by Santa, connecting himself back to the Meepos. Forced back to the fountain. 80 seconds, no chrono. Gaimin Gladiators already one lane taken away. And still back in the commanding position of this game. 2 successful fights in a row.
All right. I think it's Xantic wishing he was Magnus on that last harpoon play. I feel like that's what they need to be able to pull heroes back into the fountain.
Yeah, it looks like we're not going to have a lot of Giga Shads and Giga Antics. As it just looks like GG's just looking to close out yet another series for themselves. They're close to it. It's still not done and still not over. Gaimin Gladiators would secure second place in the West European Division. No need for tiebreakers if they win this one. They're straight through to the major. And D1 Hustlers, if they lose this one, their major hopes, they die with this game.
The condition for D1 Hustlers to win team fights is very specific. And they did it twice in a row, which was impressive. But they need to go back. They need to find the Shadow Demon. They need to isolate the Medusa. That's what's working in his fights for them. So they need to go back and try and make that happen. But it's easier said than done. Whereas Gaimin Gladiators, road to success, there's nothing specific they have to do. They just have to make sure Medusa gets her ult off and try to initiate and get a kill and kite the global.
Well, talking about going back to basics, that's Zantic. Gonna lead the charge to the area they had success before, but they're all just dodging this Void Spirit. That's Zantic getting nothing really done here. And Ace gonna try to surround him. Rolling Thunder used by Quinn, though, still on the chase with that shield rune. An extra
Dratio
1500
BKB too. Alright, this is awkward for Gaimin.
This is very awkward for them indeed, and Mirana going to get lassoed up. The global silence coming out at the same time, but they're not initiating in it. They're just going to wait for the global to run out and reset and go in again. Devialama with the counter spell, no connections onto him. Ace sniping in the backline, trying to look for a kill. Going to look for this Void Spirit potentially, and the supports are on the run. They know that they're very squishy. Hakoda and Theoliker don't want to stand too close to the front line, especially when they're running out.
Neither team could find the opening that they really wanted. They both tried, but nothing seems to be clean there.
No damage dealt yet, except for the ultis down on cooldown. But Zantic finds Ace. He found the real Meepo. Arrow, nice dodge there with the Manta. And also silence up for the time being. Devialama burning through half of the mana pull off of this Medusa. And at the same time, Meepo looking for an angle to jump in. They're clearing out at Zantic's illusions and Shad. He's hiding in the pit right now with no friends around. They've got creeps inside their base, hitting tier 4 towers. And D1 Hustlers not in a position to fight right now. Have to wait a bit longer. There's a lot of creeps. One tier 4 is already down. They're fully committing to it. And Gaimin Gladiators, they know it. They know.
Yeah, they're going to go in now. They see Anti-Mage is not there. But can you give this Roche away? This might be too costly. I know your tier 4s are dying and you have to deal with that, and this makes it a very difficult play. But now you're going to be playing into the Aghanims. Roshan with the cheese. And the Aegis? This is tough. This is definitely tough as Dratio just gets gifted. He didn't even take the Aegis. All right, he just took the Ags. He took Meepo's Ags. What's even going on here?
Yeah, I mean, Meepo just putting his Ags in the backpack for the time being. Okay, actually gets the blessing to activate it, but now D1 Hustlers looking for the fight to end it all. Tofu gonna be close to dropping, will finally end up going down. Medusa still in the gaze, gonna have to get these stuns. Void Spirit stunned up, so is the Faceless Void right now. Shad in trouble at the BKB, another connection. They're gonna kill him before he gets to react, and he's gone for 2 minutes. Gaimin Gladiators looking to secure that major position for themselves as Gaimin Gladiators just running down D1 Hustlers. One by one they fall. Theoliker gonna be the next one in the arms of Ace. Ace just toying with him for the time being, and that will connect. That's a web connection on the low ground. Can't quite get there though. 100 seconds without the Faceless Void. It seems impossible now.
Yeah, without the Chronosphere, it seems definitely very, not even difficult. I don't know what they can possibly do here. Ace is just gonna right-click down on your base, but you have Dratio to deal with as well.
And he has a cheese, so he's pretty happy with just chilling in the front. And Zantic might kill off Celery. He's coming in with a buyback to return back into the fight. 4 versus 5. There goes the Mega Creeps. And Anti-Mage, he's going to be the one to drop next. He's rooted up. Devialama, he's going to have to buy back in as well for a last chance hope. Quinn, Rolling Thunder, he's low on HP. But at the same time, Dratio just charging in the front line. Cheese has been used. Lasso up as well. Popped them. Now Zantic to drop. Hakoda to die too. Tofu going to burn it alive. And they're back to the fountain. And there we have it. Gaimin Gladiators. Ancient down to half HP. So close to victory as that GG comes out. Gaimin Gladiators will once again be seen at the Major to fight for their back-to-back-to-back title.
Back-to-back-to-back. Quite an achievement that would be if they can get the third one.